pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone, to our April board meeting. I will first read the appeal of decisions pursuant to the provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws. Please take notice that decisions of the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under a common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. We are going to go out of order on the agenda today. We're waiting for one of our park board members to get here who's running a little late, so we'll have a quorum to vote on other items. So we're going to move to special presentations. So we will start with Mr. Dwight Hall, who's back on the back row there, to present an update on the Iroquois steeplechase to the board, which is coming up on the second Saturday of May. Welcome, Dwight.
We're going to get some things up here for a second, and
Great.
And we'll get started. Thank you for having us. We'll just kind of get a little quick overview, wake everybody up. Sound, hopefully you hear a little bit. Good. So, we just turn the lights back on. There we go. Thank you. So, we just want to just give you a quick overview this morning. We're not far away. May 12th, believe it or not, is just around the corner. It's hard to believe with the weather we've had, but hopefully it's going to start getting warm. I just thought I'd give you a quick talk about some new things and give you some perspective on the Iroquois. This is our 77th year, which has been going since 1941. We've kind of developed a theme this year that says where today meets tradition, and we kind of feel like, you know, we have the tradition of the Iroquois and all the things that have gone on in the past, but also where today we're trying to update it and appeal to a lot of things that some of the new and younger people and all those newcomers to Nashville also enjoy. So just a quick overview, we have 500,000 in purses, which is the second largest steeplechase in the United States, largest in the spring. We attract absolutely the best horses in the country. And within the last couple of years, we've had some international horses. So we've also gotten some international exposure also, which is good for Nashville. The first year we had some people from England and Ireland come over. Nashville was actually being promoted in England. So it all kind of tied together. Have about 25,000 in attendees. We've given over $10 million to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. We do, you know, besides Children's Hospital, I'll tell you a little bit later about some other things we do with the proceeds. But Children's Hospital is one of our main beneficiaries. You can see we get a lot of media coverage, which is also, I think, good for Nashville. There's 37 media outlets. And right now we have about 15,000 social media followers. So we're getting, you know, a good bit of coverage. Nashville's getting a good bit of coverage. We're doing some new things. The last couple of years, you did not in the past, unless you had a box or a tailgating spot, basically there wasn't a ticket available. So about 3 years ago, we instituted individual tickets. So now you can buy an individual ticket, which gains you access to the infield. So If you hadn't decided to go and it's a really pretty day on Saturday and you want to go, you can buy an individual ticket and come in and enjoy all the fun of the day. So those people that are in the infield, we wanted to help in their experience. So 2 years ago, last year, 1 year ago, last year we developed the Fox Stand, which is in the infield. It's a tenant venue, and so you can get out of the sun, you can get out of the rain. For the price of the ticket, you get basically lunch all day, and this year we're really excited. We have Tomcats, who has Acme Feed, the Southern Oyster, Fin and Pearl, Loveless Cafe. They're supplying the food for us, so they came on board as a sponsor. So we're pretty excited about the food we're going to have in there. We also, because the millennials all want music, so we're going to have live music playing in between the races. It won't be during the races, but it'll be in between the races. So if you just bought a single ticket, you can go in and hang out there all day or go back and forth and visit with your friends. If you do have a tailgating spot and don't want to pack a lunch and do that, you can get down and also be with a group. So that's new. That part is new this year. Brand new this year, children under 12 are free in general admission and tailgating. We're really trying to encourage families. 3 years ago, if you look in the two right-hand sides of the screen, you see some pony rides and inflatable games. That's in our family area. The family area is located up right next to the boxes. It's open to all attendees so that, you know, children get bored. It's a long day. So they can get down. You can play in the family area. It's open to everyone on the whole grounds. We think it enhances their experience. It's an alcohol-free zone. So we're really trying to encourage families to come and bring their children because they're our next generation of attendees. We've also enhanced the tailgating area. A lot of people nowadays, especially millennials, really want everything just basically done for them. They don't want to have to do it. So that we basically now you can rent a tent, you can rate tables and chairs, and if you don't want to pack lunch, we'll deliver a gourmet box lunch to your tailgating spot. So we hope that enhances the experience. It makes it easier for them to come and a lot more fun for them. So that's brand new this year. For the corporate people or somebody that wants a high-end experience, we have Skybox Suites. You can buy an individual ticket, be inside in a climate-controlled area, out of the weather. Best view out there. It looks right down on the whole course. It's an amazing view, and it comes with valet parking. So those people in the corporate arena, as Nashville grows, we think that gives them another alternative to be out there. We have a large social media presence, which we think also not only enhances us, enhances Nashville and the park system, and these are some of the areas we're in social media. We also are on the CBC's website, so we think we're getting a lot of exposure there. This year, we pretty much are sure we're going to have great weather again. So we think hopefully it'll be another great year. It's a real tradition for Nashville. We kind of call it Nashville's Rite of Spring. A couple other things I just wanted to share with the park board that may or may not know. We give back also $20,000 every year to Friends of Water Park. So we've been doing that for a long time. So we want to be great partners with the park and the park system, so we do that. The other thing we do, in addition to maintaining all the box areas, all the track and the hedges out there, this past year we made a significant investment in the box area, and we painted, repaired. We spent about $49,000 upgrading the boxes. If you've been out there, I think the appearance is a lot better with the staining. It also preserves the wood. And that basically benefits you all because that's part of the park system. So, but that we give back as a contribution. The other thing we do, and which we have been doing for a number of years, is we maintain the barn. About 15 years ago, we did a major renovation of the barn, and then every year we go in and we repair all the damage. This year we had to do a major renovation again. There were significant termite damage in that barn. There were 10 by 10 posts this big that were on the inside completely rotten. I mean, I don't know why the barn was staying up. So we had to repair those and put money into that. We spent about $46,000 doing that. We painted the barn. We also painted the office out there, and so we did that. The other thing we did last year, the perimeter board fencing was really was kind of not in great shape. So we totally repaired all the perimeter board fencing and we repainted it. And it certainly spruced up the look from Old Hickory Boulevard. So we spent another $20,000 on it. So overall, last year we think we gave back to the community and the park system about $107,000. And we continue to do that. We'll continue to have to do the barn. It was never built with a foundation, so it sinks. This year we had 8 doors that wouldn't open because it's just still sinking out there. So we'll continue to do that. We put in a Centricon termite system to supplement Metro's termite package, and they've guaranteed that we'll keep the termites away. Last year we had a swarm at 1 o'clock when the horses were going up to the race. It was kind of strange. So with that, that's kind of where we are. I just want to show you a little quick video at the end. Take a second to bring up. Those are our sponsors who we really appreciate. Any questions? Okay. Good. I hope that gets everybody ready.
Are there any questions for Dwight?
I'm going to give you all to just take back your businesses or whatever. We're past,
Nice.
And there's a new invitation for you.
So Dwight, in the past we talked about possibly increasing the size of the boxes. Is that something we're still considering maybe down the road?
Yeah,
or?
we are. I had hoped that we would be farther along and be able to talk to you, but getting the engineering done with Nashville is taking longer than we anticipated. The contractors and engineers are really swamped. So we really haven't gotten the finalized plans back yet, so we can put it out to bid and get it informed when we've got it to you. So that's probably, another year away. But what we'd like to do is add about 200 boxes, if possible. We've got a large waiting list, very large waiting list, and it would blend in with what's out there now. In other words, if we extend out the grass box area, we'll go out with grass boxes and match what's there with the stone wall. And if we, which Tim I know would be interested in, and then if we go out with the wood boxes, we'll, basically mirror those. So it would be, fit in with what's in there.
Has it actually been at that spot for 77 years?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yep.
I didn't
And
know.
it was actually built by the WPA.
Okay.
So.
All right, well, it's great. Thank you so much. Thanks for the update. All right, we'll stay with special presentations. We have the Friends of Sevier Park to present an annual update to the board.
That's a hard act to follow. I want to give you, my name is Lindsay Moffett. I'm president of our Friends group, Friends of Sevier Park, and I want to give you basically a little bit of background about how our group formed. I think it was in August of 2012 that we met with Tim Neach. And our group came together through 2 neighborhood associations, Belmont Hillsborough Neighbors and 12 South, wanting to bring the neighborhoods together, and we felt that the park was a great place to do that. We wanted to hold a concert. We were going to call it Hoodstock. And after a lot of meetings and evolution, we ended up with Friends of Sevier Park, which formed our 501c3 in April of 2013. We had our first concert, and it rained. It was miserable. It does that in May. So, but two of our highest priorities at that time were completion of the perimeter walk around Sevier Park and establishing a friends group. And I'm glad to say in the last 5 years we've met both of those goals. We had our first concert in 2014 with a headline artist, Brandy Clark. The next year we had Johnny Swim. After that, in 2016, we had Blues Travelers. Last year we had Lone Bellow and Mighty Magnolias, and this year on May 4th and 5th, the concert is May 4th, we have J. Roddy Walston and Amanda Shires. That's our main fundraising event. We have found that we can't control the weather, so this year we are going to expand and have a fall fundraiser as well. We have a meeting this week to begin planning that event, and that will be an indoor event, so we won't be affected by the rain. One of the things that we're targeting with our fundraising efforts is meeting the neighborhood park attendees' needs, addressing their needs and their desires. The first thing we added was water fountains. Our park had no fountains in it. We had a lot of children playing on the playground and no water, so we added our first year of fundraising, we added the fountains. The second year, we did a creek cleanup. We have a wonderful little tributary to Browns Creek that runs through Sevier Park. It was overgrown with a lot of honeysuckle and things that did not belong there, so we had that professionally cleaned out this past year. This year, we're focusing on a pop-up water park to have maybe in July and August for the neighbors, and we're working with a designer to do that, and Tim is helping us with that. And it will be a removable feature, so it's not something that's permanent, but we'll see how that goes. And then hopefully down the road we'll put in a water feature for our kids. That's it. Any questions that anyone has? No?
I think they'll do a great job at Sevier Park. It's just fantastic. So,
well,
I appreciate that.
It's a great walkable park. We have a lot of families that live in close proximity, and I think with all the tourists that stay in the Airbnbs in that area, we get a lot of those folks as well as Belmont and Lipscomb University students. So we have a lot of hammocks that go up in the spring with students in it. So, and the B-Shares bicycles, I think, has really helped access our park.
So you mentioned May 4th is your concert, and the 5th is festival.
The 5th is basically a free day for anybody who wants to come, and we have vendors. We have our booths. We make money through selling our booth space. That's sold out well in advance. That was closed out in January. We have food trucks, and people just come and enjoy the park. We have local musicians playing on 3 different stages. We closed down 12th Avenue. So it's just a street fest, basically. We don't really make money off of that other than selling the vendor space. Our main fundraiser is the night before the concert, the night before. We do have a major corporate sponsor this year, which we're really excited about, is Glidden Paint. They're new, I think, to sponsoring big events in Nashville, so we're really excited to have them brought on board. So we'll see where that goes.
How many members do you have?
Around 200 family memberships. We're working this year, we're focusing on our media and communications, having a improved website and working with neighbors. But basically, we're just trying to add amenities to the park that help families enjoy the park. We do host the 12 South Farmers Market. That's something that helps bring people into the park as well. Through that should open up, I think, next month. So.
Thank you so much. In our last presentation today, the Conservancy annual update to the board will be rescheduled for the next meeting or two. So we will have the executive director here at that time. So we will go back to section 6 on the agenda to old business. 03, I'm sorry, we go to consideration of minutes. I apologize. So now that we have a quorum, we can approve the minutes. We have a motion to approve minutes. Second, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are approved. Any Metro Council referrals today? None. Moving on now to new business, 031811. Mr. Joe Hawks, Executive Director of the Friends of Kimbrough Station, requests approval for the board to name Southeast Regional Park Mill Ridge Park. This will be deferred to the naming committee for our next meeting, and we will consider that at that time. Moving on to 031812, Mr. Chris Stacy, Mr. Aaron Clark, representing Glow Nashville, request preliminary approval from the board of a multi-year license for use of Riverfront Park for the time period of Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve to offer a unique Christmas light and holiday experience to Nashville residents and visitors. I know there's been a lot of discussion back and forth with legal. I don't know, Macy, if you'd like to.
Sure. So I received their proposed license on Thursday. I've sent a couple of comments back to their attorney at the beginning of this week. We just haven't heard back yet, so it's a little bit early for you all to consider this because there is not a license to consider yet.
Are there any questions? If not, we'll defer this to the May meeting. Moving on to the consent agenda. I entertain a motion to consider the entire consent agenda unless you would like to make any comments.
Move approval.
Second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The consent agenda carries. Now we will move to new business. 041804, Mr. Joe Goldthreet request consideration of the board to recognize Friends of Hadley Park Tennis Program, Inc. as an official volunteer support group to Metro Parks. Would you like to get up and say a few words?
Yes, it's a pleasure again to show up and be back in front of this board. Last week, I received an award at Hilton Head, Tennis Pro of the Year for Tennessee. We had 600 people there. But the most important thing is that I would like to get this Friends of Hadley Park tennis program started back up. When I left in 2009, we had 6,000 kids in the summertime, low-income, suburban children. To be a friend of Park and Recreation, when we started back with Jimmy Fikes and Mary Worry, setting up this program and all these legal legalities that it takes to run the Friends, I guess we've been friends for about 40 years of Park and Recreation. We want to make it official that we can go and raise funds to make that tennis facility that's going up successful. They asked me to go with Sally Davis and Miss Hips to Tennessee State and get them on board to build this new facility, and they would be able to have activities and support it. We want to raise funds to make sure that we can pay for the court costs and when in idle time. Well, low-income kids can be able to play with suburban children at no cost. I'm looking for that. Another thing I would like to say that I like for my president, who got me started some 50 years ago, to say a few words. Ms. Fannie Holmes, would you mind coming up?
He does a great job.
Hello, everyone. Well, this is my first time for standing before the board, and kind of caused surprise when Mr. Goldthreet said come up and say a few words. But we, as Hadley Park Friends of Tennis, Hadley Park, would like to continue our process of what we're doing, because we really are doing it for a worthwhile cause for all these young people that's out in the streets, and we have a way of bringing them in, and we have had over the years a great success. Most of our kids that have come through our program have gone on to a 4-year college degree with this as academic scholarships to various universities. We've had 3 or 4 to go on the pro circuit as a result of Hadley Park teaching. So this is a worthwhile thing, and I think that it is something that the board should consider and we ask you for your support. Thank you.
And last, I like to say is discipline through education to make them a nonviolent taxpaying citizen. It has worked for me for 40 years, and it will work for us for the future. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. You always have done such a great job there, and we appreciate that. Are there any questions? I think the staff recommends approval of this. We have a motion. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you for bringing that to the board. 041805, Mr. Tommy Bibb, representing the Metropolitan Nashville Airport Authority, requests the board to accept a donation in the amount of $10,000 to the Metro Parks Tree Bank to support the funding of planting of trees in other areas of Nashville.
I'll take that.
Okay.
Recently, our staff provided technical assistance and support to the Metro Nashville Airport Authority in removing trees and wildlife habitat that was very close to one of their primary runways. And so in acknowledgement of that, the Airport Authority is donating this $10,000, which we appreciate, to the tree bank. And I'd just like to read a part of the Metro Code of what the purpose of the tree bank. The tree bank shall be a fund set up to receive monies from owners or developers who for various reasons remain unable to successfully plant and maintain trees on the site under development, with such monies to be used for the planting and maintaining of public trees. So this $10,000 will go toward replenishing our tree canopy in the county, and I recommend approval.
I'll move that we accept this grant.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. All right. 041806, staff request approval of the board for acquisition and disposition of parkland at Southeast Davidson Regional Park. The chair of the acquisition committee, Mr. Jeff Haynes, will give a report.
The acquisition committee met, and thanks to long efforts by Cindy Harrison and Shane Dennison, we're in a position to complete the Southeast Davidson Regional Park by acquiring the donut hole. And so our recommendation is to move approval of selling 19 acres, which allows us to get an access easement to the north and purchase 65 acres in the Southeast Davidson Regional Park.
So we entertain a motion?
Yes.
We have a motion? A second. Any discussion? I do want to comment, just to remind everyone, anytime we do this, if there's a net gain of property, we can consider it. And this is a very large net gain of property, which is excellent. It really accomplishes a lot, and I know you've done such a great job putting this together, and we appreciate it. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 041807, staff from the Greenways and Open Space Commission request approval from the Parks Board to brand the urban greenway corridor system City Central Greenway. This will be deferred to the naming committee. And that is the end of new business. We've had special presentations. We will now move to capital projects update.
Not at all.
As usual, I'll hit the highlights or new items. That Southeast Regional Park site where you all just approved the additional acreage, we completed the master plan for that site in December, and we have been moving forward on schematic design of phase one. So that will wrap up this summer with cost estimates that will inform the FY19 capital budget recommendations for the department. Ozapan Park is moving forward. That construction is actually being contracted and managed by Conexión Americas, but they will have a May opening date, and we can share the details with you on that next month. In Bellevue, at Bellevue Park, the Red Caboose Playground replacement planning is continuing going forward. We'll also have a second public meeting on that this May for public input on that design. Fannie Mae D's, the Dragon Restoration. This has been an ongoing partnership with Hillsborough Weston Neighborhood Association. The vast majority of all of the work will be done in time for their annual Dragon Music Parade, which launches the Dragon Music Sundays concert series on May 20th. So a lot is stacking up here for events in May. Fort Negley Cultural Landscape Plan, we'll have a contract negotiations meeting on that this week in order to move forward on that. Old Hickory Community Center, we're doing the preliminary planning on replacement of that facility and master planning for the entire park. A second public meeting on that will be scheduled for toward the end of this month. We're still nailing down a date on it. In Percy Warner Park, the LA restoration, this is a new project on the list. Friends of Warner Parks and Parks are cost sharing on the engineering study that will result in a restoration plan for the LA inside the Belmead gates. Also in Percy Warner Park, we are moving forward on bidding for construction of the Page Road lot. This is that vacant lot across the street that's been the source of so many issues over the last couple of years. So that plan, design plan by us in communication with the City of Belmead and Friends of Warner Parks was approved several months ago, and we're now funding construction on it. Stones River Bend, this is the Ravenwood Lytle Bend site. Again, we completed that master plan in December, moving forward on schematic design now with cost estimates for FY19 capital spending plan. And those are the highlights. One other thing I'll mention, at Tony Rose Park several months ago, you all approved an agreement with Panatone Development that will ultimately result in a number of improvements and renovations to that park. A part of that master plan was to do a public art project in one of the cul-de-sacs that dead ends in the park. And through Jen Garcia, we have created a partnership with the Oasis Center. So Oasis is going to manage that public art project with engagement from community youth, including the kids at Easley Community Center, and that, along with all of the other improvements, will be funded by Panatone.
Any questions? I had a couple on here. Madison Community Center, when is that supposed to open? I know that's...
We're working on identifying a date for it based more on getting the staffing in place and furnishing on site than with construction. We're essentially substantially complete on construction for Madison.
And then and we had the presentation on Sevier. It made me think of the Sunnyside Mansion. Is that in process right now, or? Yeah,
design is in process on that. So that includes renovation of the L, which was originally attached to the back of the mansion, some repair work on the mansion itself, and then restoration and adaptive reuse of all of those outbuildings.
Are they going to have to move out of there, the offices?
No.
Okay.
No. And then we're also looking at improvements to parking and circulation in that immediate area. You know, there's that sort of triangular gravel parking lot that's problematic that we're hoping to fix as part of this project.
And then the only last question was Smith Springs. When is that supposed to open? Or should open?
Tentatively, we're probably in June. It's a month or two behind Madison in terms of construction schedule.
George, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
With the budget restraints, or our budget strings going to be a little tighter, as you know, this next year. How will that affect us places like some of these new centers opening, such as, out in Madison?
it won't affect us in terms of capital budget and operating,
Well,
you
that
mean?
was going to be a part of my report, but I'll let you know that in terms of staffing and operations for Smith Springs and Madison, we will receive funding for those to complete the full year funding. We got partial funding last year, but will be completed this year, so we should be able to open and operate successfully. So that's it.
Thank you, Tim. All right, moving on to upcoming special activities and events. Jackie, our busy time of year now.
It is a busy time of year. You'll notice your list is getting longer and longer, so let's get to it, and I'll just hit on a few highlights. Fossils at the Fort is scheduled for 10 a.m. Saturday, April 7th at Fort Negley. This is one of their most popular events, and it's an event where Tennesseans can either bring their own fossils or find their own fossils and find out a little bit about the ancient history of Tennessee. On April 14th, 9 a.m., we have the Cherry Blossom Festival and Walk, and then at Public Square Park. Also on April 14th, we will have the Birch Reserve grand opening at 1 p.m. And Mayor Briley is scheduled to attend that particular event. At 11 a.m. on April 21st, we have the Earth Day Festival in Centennial Park. On April 20th, an event worth noticing at Public Square Park is called March for Our Lives. It's at 9:15 a.m. About 400 students from Hume Fogg and MLK will march to Public Square to continue the discussion about gun control laws here in Tennessee. On April 21st at 8 p.m., we'll have the Richland Creek Run, which is an annual event to benefit Greenways for Nashville. And then also on the 27th, at 5 p.m., we have the Art of Dance reception and a dance performance at the Centennial Arts Center. That's it.
And lots of other things on the list.
And lots of other things on the list.
All right. Next, any department updates that we need? All right, we'll move to the report of the director.
Okay, thank you very much. Our council budget hearing is scheduled for May 22nd at 4 p.m. in the council chambers. I hope that everyone who's able to attend will do that.
What was the date of that again?
May, we will.
What time?
May 22nd at 4.
At 4?
As Mr. Fossick acknowledged, we have been told, departments in Metro have been told to rely basically on a status quo budget, that our budget is tight for this fiscal year and for the upcoming fiscal year. You have at your place a spreadsheet of our operating budget requests, and they include the continuation funding that I mentioned for staffing and operations for the 2 community centers that will open in the next few weeks, and then some administrative costs for Park Police, and a request for our maintenance division. As you all know better than anyone, our park system is continuing to expand, and the city is growing, and we're happy about that, but it does stress our system and our maintenance resources. And so we have made that request in light of the fact that we understand that the budget will be tight. I still felt it probably most responsible to let the administration know of our very basic needs. And so another page that I put at your table, at your place on the table, is really a breakout of our budget. I know that when you hear a number like $39 million or $40 million, it sounds like a lot until you start to whittle down what is included in that and how much or discretionary spending the department actually has. So I wanted you to see that. It starts with the overall operating budget number of $39.9 million. And then personnel benefits are about 78% of our budget. And even saying that, acknowledging that, our staff in every division of this department is very lean. And we rely on partnerships and community and overtime and really the hard work and creativity of our staff. It's just to be commended. I can't say that enough. But then we also have some other items included in the budget, and that those are utilities, and I call those have-tos. Those are utilities and internal service fees and things like that. And then also just some items or expenditures that we incur in the regular operation of the park system, that we have to have pool chemicals and chemicals, vegetation, for vegetation control, and lots of other things. And you can review that, and I'd be happy to go into detail one-on-one with you. But then if you turn your page over, once you go through all of the, I guess I, again, call them have-to, the things that expenditures that we must incur, we're left with about $677,000 of true discretionary funding. And that is across a 12-month period for a park system that spans the entire county. We do a lot with not very much, and I just wanted to make you aware of that. This is the document that I did share with the mayor and the finance director, so I wanted you to have a copy of that as well, so that when people are looking at our overall operating budget and see that large number, you can actually know what that number means. And that's all I have. Oh, no. One more thing. The National Association of County Parks and Recreation Officials will be in Nashville in July, and they have asked us to lead a tour to some of our facilities and parks, and we're working with them to do that, and then we will have some educational seminars they've asked us to lead. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you.
Any questions for the director on budget or?
Okay. Oh, you can answer it? Okay.
All right. Any further discussions or future agenda items? Or if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move adjournment.
Adjournment.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.